Welcome to the yoga method. Our practice today is just a brief restorative mobility practice to get your body feeling good for the day ahead. So come and join me on your mat as soon as you're ready. And we are actually going to start in yogi squat or malasana. If malasana is not feeling comfortable for you, by all means, just using a block to help you gain the mobility you need through your knees, through your ankles, and through your hips. So over time, the body will remold and adapt. So variation 1, sitting on your yoga block. Variation 2, removing your yoga block. And we're just taking a moment to close down our eyes and connect with the rhythm of our breathing. So a long spine, using your elbows to encourage your knees wide as you use the breath to harness your awareness, to harness the totality of your being. As you arrive fully in this moment, fully in this body, taking one more breath before opening the windows of your eyes and releasing your left hand to the ground as you gently press through your left inner thigh, which is your right. So left hand to the earth, right hand gently encouraging. So finding a little bit of rotation through your spine, deliberately lifting through your heart, and only looking over your right shoulder if your neck is happy with that position. Please take 3 more breaths as you are. Taking 2 more breaths, please. 1 more full, deep, smooth breath in. And on your exhalation, please, just holding your ankles. Once again, you're still sitting on your block. But on your in-breath, we'll all lift our hips and release our heads. And on the exhalation, bend your knees and descend as far as your body will allow. So inhaling, lifting through our hips. Exhaling to draw the hips back down, but exaggerate the lift of your heart. Taking 3 more in your own time. Sky supervising this morning's practice. She's already done her down dogs and her up dogs. 1 more, please. Before gently pausing once again in our malasana, our Hindi squat, grounding into your right hand, encouraging your left thigh wide. So both arms we're using as levers. Just create a little bit more external rotation through the ball and socket joint through our hip. Sometimes it is the ankle mobility that restricts malasana. So absolutely, if you're on the tips of your toes, you're working much harder than I am. And just know that that range of motion through your ankle joint can definitely improve with consistency over time. Taking 2 more breaths. 1 more full deep breath in and out. When you're ready, releasing both hands just for a moment and either staying on your block or staying as you are. We can take the hands behind us for a little bit of extra support, and we're just working through internal rotation and external rotation actively through our hip joints. So if you need the support of your hands, this is what you will look like. Variation 2, if you do not need the support of your hands, I'd like for you just to bring your hands out in front and working dynamically through the range of motion that your hip joint will allow today. Let's just take 4 more. Last 3. 2 remaining. And 1 more each direction before we pause in the midline, release our hands, and let's just work our way into child's pose. So knees wide, big toes together, sinking our hips back momentarily, releasing our head, relaxing our shoulders. If there's any discomfort in your hips or your knees, please lift your pelvis higher. And if your shoulders are not loving this position, just bend your elbows as much as you need. Taking 2 more breaths. 1 more full deep breath in and out. Before you walk your hands to the left side of your mat to open up the right side of your torso. Right hand on top of left as we gently ease our way into lateral flexion. And now deliberately flood the space between each rib on the right side of your torso. 2 more, please. Those infraspinatus muscles, teres major, teres minor, and quadratus lumborum, as well as our obliques, receiving lots of love. And when the time is right for you, we'll just separate the hands, and I invite you to step your right foot forward. If the floor is feeling far away today, using your block, using books, whatever you have handy to help you with this position, please check your knees right above your ankle. And as I gaze over my knee, I can see that my knee is tracking with my second and my third toe. So we don't worry so much about never allowing the knee to pass over the ankle joint. That's a normal range of motion. But I do want the alignment of my hip and my knee to track over my second and third toe. So variation 1, we're going to use the block to support us. And variation 2, if you don't need the block, you're still coming to the inside of that knee. As you tuck your chin to look at your back knee, just make sure that it's far enough back that you can allow your pelvis to descend. And if it feels like there's still room for you to play with, you're coming down onto your forearms. Sometimes we notice that the inside forearm is not quite on the earth. And if that is your experience, please just wrap that arm around your left ankle. If you have lowered, I want you to once again tuck your chin, and please make sure that your ankle is disappearing behind your knee. So aligning the ankle, the knee, and the hip, and then breathing new spaciousness into your left hip flexor, as well as your right hamstring, if you're feeling it there. Lifting through Mula Bandha, through your pelvic floor, a gentle upward lift of the abdominal wall to support our lower back. To enhance this further, we activate through our left glute, as by contracting a muscle on the opposing side of the muscle we're stretching. We create more depth in our stretch. We enhance stability at the same time. And the activation of the opposing muscle inhibits the muscle we're stretching so that it relaxes just a little bit more. 1 more breath. And when the time is right for you, we crawl up. We'll place our right hand on our right thigh, taking a tiny bit of rotation for a moment. I'd love for you to actively lift and lower now through your back leg, just to bring a little bit more stability, a little bit more strength. And sometimes movement with breath is the very best way of softening the body, releasing tension in the body. Let's just take 2 more of these. Inhaling, exhaling 1 more time. Before gently returning our knee, returning our eye gaze, and return your hands to the inside. I'd like for you to walk your leg back. And once again, the option of supporting yourself with your yoga block if you're finding that the floor is just a little far away today. Variation 2, we're finding the earth. And then I'd love for you all just to create a little bit of neural flossing, flexing and pointing. Our hearts are lifted, our spines are long, and we're moving with the rhythm of our breath. Taking 2 or 3 more to see how it feels for you. And on your last one, it doesn't matter whether your hands are on a block or on the earth. We'll keep our left hand down. We'll take our right hand to our hip and turn our torso towards our thigh. And then only if your shoulder will allow, we're reaching skywards. At the same time, we are deliberately drawing our right hip back, left hip forward. Please feel free to gaze to your top hand if it feels good to your body. Last 2 breaths. One more full, smooth, deep breath in. And on your exhalation, release your hand, release your back toes, and see if you can slide your hips towards your heel. If this does not feel good on your left knee, you'll just stay where you were. And from there, dipping in as far as it feels really beautiful and therapeutic for your body. How deeply can you breathe? Can you relax into what you are feeling? Just taking one more full, deep, smooth breath in and out before the inhalation brings us back. And I'd like for you to bring your hands to your right thigh now. A little shift of the weight forward, using your hands to press your femur over your second and your third toe. And then a tuck of your tailbone to help stabilize your lumbar spine and your pelvis. From there, I'd like you to take your left hand to the curve of your lower back and create a little bit more pressure through the hip. Option to slide the hand to your thigh, or maybe you're reaching for your back heel, somewhere it is. And then from there, taking your right hand high, if your balance will allow. Staying and breathing for 3 more breaths with either your right hand on your right thigh or your hand high. And with your left hand on your hip, your hamstring, your calf, or your heel. One more full deep breath in. And on your exhalation, let's bring the hands to the inside, please. We're sliding that leg around. We're returning to child's pose with knees wide, big toes together. Just easing our way in, releasing any tension in our back that's developed through a back bend shape. And walking your hands now to the right side of your mat. Left hand on top of the right. Taking all of your awareness to the left side of your torso. Flooding the breath in. Last 2, please. And then as we ease our way forward, we're stepping our left leg forward, right leg back. Placing the block on the inside of the foot. And checking that we have hip and knee alignment, knee right above the ankle, and the knee tracking towards the second and the third toe. So let's initially really exaggerate the lift of the heart, and we're deciding whether we need the block or not. Fingertips or palms of the hands, hugging your left knee towards your left shoulder, and checking that you've been generous enough with your back leg that you can allow your pelvis to descend. From here, are we lowering down to one forearm and wrapping the arm under? Or is there enough spaciousness in the hips today to allow both arms to release? Please tuck your chin. Check once again that your ankle is disappearing behind your knee. Knowing then that we have beautiful alignment between the ankle, the knee, the hip. And then returning your eye gaze either towards the top of your mat, or you're welcome to lift your eye gaze a little bit more if your neck allows. How fully can you breathe into the sensation? Can you bring awareness to pelvic floor, lower abdominals, and the engagement of your right glute, please? Last 3 breaths. For 2. 1 more full, deep, beautiful breath in and out. We're crawling up onto our hands, and it will be your left hand to your left thigh. You're spiraling to look over your left shoulder. So at the same time that we're pressing down into both hands to lift and lengthen the spine, we're allowing the hips to descend. But then we awaken through the stabilizers. So pelvic floor, navel gently towards the spine, and really deliberately activating your right glutes as we stay and breathe for 3. Returning your eye gaze when you're ready. With or without your block, begin to lengthen, please, through your left leg coming into your hamstring stretch. So a half malasana. Option when we are ready to either keep our block or remove our block. And then from there, we all began to add that little bit of neuroflossing, flexing, and pointing through our left ankle. Our spines are long, our hearts are lifted, and we're squaring through the pelvis as much as we can. At the same time, maintaining a gentle engagement of the abdominals to support our spines. Last 2, please. And when you are ready, just staying exactly as you are. Grounding into your left hand, bringing your right hand to your hip, turning your torso. Or let's try the other way, shall we? So grounding into your right hand, bringing your left hand to your hip, and then only reaching skywards if that feels good to your body. Turning to look only skywards if your neck will allow. And we continue to draw the toes back. We continue to square the pelvis. But the breath is always our primary focus. Staying and breathing for 2. Staying and breathing for 1. Before gently returning your eyes, returning your hand, and now release your toes and slide your way back if your knees and hips will allow. If not, we're staying exactly as we were a moment ago. Once you've arrived safely, maybe we're reaching the arms a little bit further away. Just making sure this feels beautiful to your body as you stay and breathe for 3 more breaths. One more, please. When the time is right for you, we'll navigate our way back up. And this time we're bringing the hands to the thigh momentarily. So once again, traction your femur forward towards your second and your third toe. Option to stay exactly as we are with your left hand resting on your thigh and your right hand coming to your hip. From there, the hand can come to the thigh, the knee crease, or maybe finding that ankle. Once you've arrived there safely, option to leave your left hand on your thigh or to reach that hand high. Gazing to your top thumb only if the balance will allow. Please wake up through your right glute, engaging through your core. Taking 2 more breaths, please. 1 more breath before gently easing our way all the way up and out of that shape. I'd like for you to come into a kneeling position. And once again, I'm going to encourage you to use the block in between your feet to give you some support. So if your hips and your knees are happy in this position, please experiment with putting the block on the next level. And if it's still feeling quite comfortable, I'd love for you to sit in between your knees. So if you're feeling this in the knee joint, please release this immediately. If you're feeling it a little bit in your hips, fantastic. So our hips and our knees are aligned, but our feet are wider than our pelvis. Variation 1, it actually reduces the load by coming forward in the shape. Variation 2, we're sitting tall. And variation 3, we're going to bring our hands behind us. Now, the more we lift through the hearts or the more we descend, the more emphasis we'll find through our hip flexors and through our quadriceps as well. So once you have found the end point for you today, we're just going to stay and breathe. And as we stay and breathe, more space may become available. This might become your favorite way of watching TV in the evening. Just get a bolster, prop yourselves up. It's such a powerful pose for really helping to open up front body, especially if we've been doing a lot of sitting through our day. Never forcing the body, just meeting the body where it is, and allowing the body to set the pace for our unfolding. Transformation takes time. And yogis know that transformation occurs through steady, sustained, consistent, persistent, patient practice. Never forcing the body, just meeting the body where it is, lovingly, compassionately, kindly, connecting with our bodies, and allowing the magic of our yoga practice to begin to open and unravel, create spaciousness where we need it the most. Closing down your eyes, just staying for 2 or 3 more breaths in whatever shape you are in. So this position, we find our femurs internally rotated. And in a moment, we're going to come into Supta Baddha Konasana to finish our practice with our hips in external rotation. So when you're ready, you might be able to gently unravel yourself while you're down. Or if you, like me, prefer to come up and then just release the legs, give them a little bit of a shake if they need. And then please just use your hamstrings to lower yourselves down onto your back. The soles of the feet come together. And we take a moment just to really see how this shape is feeling in our bodies today. And then I'd love for you to place your left hand on your heart, your right hand on your abdominals, and closing down your eyes. Pausing to bless your own body. Pausing to feel all the goodness within you and around you. Celebrating your commitment to your health, your wellness, your vitality. Knowing that when we take the time to care for ourselves, not only do we become a radiant exemplar of what the practice of yoga can bring, but we are filling up our own cups, so we have so much more to share and give. Sharing your light, your love with the people and the world around you. Taking one more breath as you are, before gently releasing your hands, letting your legs slide away. And let's just take a moment in stillness, sealing our practice, ingraining it within our bodies. Just taking one more full, deep, smooth breath. And we begin the journey back into our day by deepening our breath, bringing gentle movement to our fingers, our toes, our hands, our feet. We reach our arms overhead, taking a full big body on from fingertip to toe. Before sliding our arms, whoopsie, down and around, bending our knees one at a time. Please gather your knees to your hearts, deload your spines, and rock your bodies gently to bring mobility back to our lower backs before rolling lightly onto the left or right hand side of your body. Lingering for one breath before rising to a seated position, please. Find the lift of your spine, the length of your heart, and let's bring hands to our heart center. Come on up if you like. Sure. There's always room for puppies. Beautiful yogis, taking one more full gentle breath in and out. Opening your eyes when you're ready. From my heart to yours, and from skies to yours, we hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste. You are so funny. Thanks for all the love. Thanks for all the love. Should we go for a walk now? Hey, should we? Oh, yes. Definitely. Definitely.